Welcome and welcome back for those returning. My name is Deborah Whipke and I am a renewal life coach. And today's video, I'm going to ask you a question like I start out most days asking, does a change in your routine or a change in your habits stress you out? For those of you out there like me who are dedicated to routines and habits, it definitely does stress you out. So, about a year ago, I made a commitment to not allow these things, changes in habits and routines, sudden changes for sure, to stress me out. So I am a life coach. I hold workshops, and my ultimate goal right now is to get motivational speaking online. And I'm also working a regular job still. So for anybody who works in a regular job, you know that you are at the mercy of your supervisors, managers, whatever, to make changes summarily. Sometimes they just come in and make these sweeping changes and to the way that we have done things. And I have been at this particular job for 7 years, and so a change it was very, very stressful for me. But like I said, I dedicated myself to let's not be stressed. Let's figure out how to be less stressed when something comes along. And so then something miraculous began to happen. I actually started to notice that changes that I thought were detrimental was actually for my highest good instead. So I'll give you a couple of examples. I was asked to work late at the last minute one day. And I have a lot of things going on after hours. And so my home life routine and the things that I'm working on is important to me. And so I knew that that was going to disrupt those things. But because I am working on not getting myself stressed out over these small changes that are happening, I said, all right, I'm just going to go with the flow. And then I'm sitting there an hour or so later, and I'm realizing, wait a minute, tomorrow's Friday, and I can flex my time that I worked over today, and I can leave early on a Friday. Hallelujah. So that worked out for my highest good. One day I was driving along and headed to work, and I got rerouted because of an accident. And while I was obviously not angry about an accident and just wished everyone well, I was anxious because I get lost so incredibly easily, and I'm like, oh no, do I have to try to set my GPS because I don't know where they're taking me, and I don't know how far out of my regular route it's going to be, and all of that. But again, I'm driving along and I see this store that other people had told me about, but I didn't know where it was. And I was like, oh Lord, there it is. This reroute worked out for my highest good because someone had just mentioned it a couple days before, and I was like, I'm gonna have to find that store. And lo and behold, there it was. And I was like, oh, here it is. And let me look around and make sure that I know where it is so I can find it again. So what I'm trying to say is, we often blow things out of proportion when things change, even when things change at work, to procedures and stuff. Either, generally, I should say, maybe we have to learn something new and that puts a little bit more stress on us. But in the long run, we figure it out. And it becomes our new routine within generally 3 to 4, 5, 6 weeks. And after even a year or so, if you're still there, you're looking back and being like, oh, that was the old routine. I forgot about that because now I'm busy doing the new routine. And you did it and you survived it. It's just that we allow ourselves to get stressed out so much over things that really aren't that important. And I started asking myself, because someone told me this years and years and years ago, and I don't remember who it was, but they said, is it going to affect you next month, next year, in 5 years, in 10 years? Is this thing going to affect you the way it's affecting you now? And if the answer is no, then why are you allowing it to affect you so negatively now? And even if next week or next month. And I have remembered that, and I have definitely used it for things that have come up out of my control, where I got very stressed out over it and very upset and anxious and everything over it. And I had to stop and ask myself, how long of a lifespan actually, does this event have for me before it's no longer going to be a stressor? And so if I know that, if I can give it a time frame, then I can also say, well, then why am I allowing it to stress me out right now? Because let's take getting rerouted. Was that going to affect me the next day? Probably not, because I wasn't going to get rerouted the next day. Or working late. Well, that did affect me the next day, but in the most positive way, because I got to leave early, and I did leave early, and I got to start my Friday early. So ask yourself, how much is this going to affect you in whatever time frame? Tomorrow, a week, a month, a year, 5 years, 10 years. Depending on what is happening is what time bracket you're going to fit it into, and see, is it going to still affect you then? And if it's not going to affect you then why are you allowing it to affect you so negatively now? And also, I'm going to say that most of the time, these changes in our routines, changes in habits actually end up working out for our highest good. Because it's not only those two things. I could give you 20 more at least, which I'm not going to do, but at least 20 more examples of just little things that came up that just instantly stressed me out. And then in the long run, I recognized the fact that they were for my highest good. They worked out for the best for me. And yet I didn't think so at the time. So it's something for you to consider, and something for anyone out there who's like me that has allowed these small changes in routines and habits to really stress you out. How much is it going to affect you in whatever time frame you give it? And is it actually working out for your highest good in the long run? And start paying attention to that. Because then if you can look at it and say, is this possibly for my highest good? Let me look at that. Then maybe you'll notice even faster. And then maybe you'll actually be grateful for that sudden change in your routine or your habit, because it'll be like, oh, wait, I know this is for my highest good. I know it's going to work out great for me. Like, I get to leave early on Friday. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up and let me know things that have happened to you. If these things have stressed you out in the past, let me know if you're going to now utilize these markers to see if it helps you to be less stressed. Please hit that subscribe button, and I will talk to you soon.